If I could grow wings, I would do anything. I would take you with me. Can't you see? If I could fly high, I would give you the sky. Don't you make no mistake. What does it take? What's up, everybody? Welcome to Movie Emporium's Flashback Reviews, where we take movies from our past, break them down, and tell you all about them. It's the first episode, so I figured I'd take a movie that not a lot of people have seen or heard of, but is very special to me as a kid growing up. It's called One Crazy Summer. It's directed by Savage Steve Holland, who you might remember from directing Better Off Dead. It's the story of a character played by John Cusack. His name is Hoops, and he's a struggling artist who's getting ready to graduate from high school. He's been drawing this comic, but can't end it. So he gets involved with going with his friend, played by Joel Murray, to Nantucket Island, and so forth. He meets a character named Cassandra, who's played by Demi Moore. And so throughout the story, Cassandra's trying to get her estate that her grandparents own. She's trying to save it from the Beckers, and her Becker's father and Teddy, who's the main antagonist of the movie. And in the preceding hour and a half of the movie, she's trying to earn money. I think it's like $5,000 to save it from the bank. And as she's doing that, we got Hoops, who's involved with Joel Murray's character, and then you have Curtis Armstrong, who plays Ak, and he's involved. And then you get the Bobcat Goldthwait and his brother, which is the Egg Brothers. And this movie is just insane, to say the least. I mean, you have everything from a foaming dolphin that's kind of like a Jaws character to a dog who has a cone around his head, and like everything you can imagine. There's an uncle who's waiting to win $1 million by listening to a radio station all week or all month or all summer or whatever it is. And then the grandmother's charging Hoops and Joel Murray's character to stay at her house. And this movie is special in so many ways because, one, I did grow up on it. It's like one of the only movies, like kind of like Ferris Bueller's Day Off and Bill and Ted's Bogus Journey, where I watched it incessantly as a kid because it has this fantastical nature about it. Hoops is a guy who wants to create this comic to get into a school, but he can't figure out how to do it. And then you see the comic animated kind of play out throughout the movie, and it kind of shows his emotion. Because it's about the cute and fuzzy bunnies, and there's this kind of rhinoceros character who's trying to fall in love, but the cute and fuzzy bunnies want nothing to do with it, so they kill him in all sorts of ways, and so on and so forth. And it's about his emotion to the world around him. But Nantucket Island is this offshoot island. It's kind of like Amity Island. This movie kind of plays off Amity Island a little bit, where they're shooting a movie like Jaws, but it's about a rabid dolphin. And then you have the whole Teddy aspect where Hoop's character kind of dates his girlfriend, and there's a whole thing behind that, and it's a weird movie. It's an interesting movie. It has to do, like, it takes all these weird tropes and just spins it on its head, and I think I like this movie because it's different. It's not like anything you've ever seen. Maybe some things nowadays, but John Cusack and Demi Moore have a lot of energetic, kinetic energy in this movie. They really fit together. They're really young because I think this movie came out in the 80s. But it's fun to see, these characters who are kind of like the David versus the Becker's Goliath. And a Regala race ends up getting entwined into the story of how Cassandra's going to get her money back. And I don't know, there's so much weird, good stuff going on. There's a whole thing with Joel Murray's character getting stuck under, this fat guy's his chair, and they have to rescue him. And like I said, the movie's fun. There's a lot of good stuff to it. Bobcat Goldthwait is always, Bobcat Goldthwait, so he really fits into this weird story of people just living out a summer on what is necessarily like a drug-filled island, it seems like. And then there's a whole thing with lobsters, and I don't know. This movie's kind of like, it reminds me a lot of Toys, where it's a movie about weird, eccentric characters that are fit into this weird, interesting world. And like I said, John Cusack, he's being his young John Cusack, so he's doing a really eccentric, oddball character. And Demi Moore is playing off stereotypes, so she's just fun to watch. And of course, Joel Murray is, the brother of Bill Murray, so he's just having fun too. But I don't know, it's really hard to explain this plot of this movie because it really doesn't make any sense. But it's fun to watch. It's kind of like, if you watch a movie where you go, huh, that was interesting, but somehow it just ekes into your heart. And like I said, growing up with this movie as a kid, I don't know, it finds a special place in my heart. Is it the greatest movie in the world? Probably not. But for me, it's a movie I definitely recommend. You should check out. It's very unique for its time. Savage Steve Holland has this weird, crazy things he wants to put in his head that he wants to put on screen. And like, I mean, there's not much more you can talk about it. It's a fun movie. It's an interesting movie. It's only like 90 minutes long, but just the animation that's in the movie, just the characters themselves that play off of this weird scenario of someone trying to save their house, someone trying to relive or to try to get their dream of animation, somebody who just wants to belong, somebody who just wants to create, a friendly relationship. I definitely recommend it. It's something special. So, but that's it on One Crazy Summer. I hope I was able to explain it better. I'll get better at this, I promise. But if you like what you see in this flashback review, tell me. If there's anything you feel like a change, let me know. But like I said in the beginning, check us out on YouTube, Audio Boom, Facebook, and Twitter. Also, if there's any movies that you want to hear me review about in the flashback cinema, maybe if most of the time I've seen it, let me know. I would definitely like some recommendations. Otherwise, I'll probably come up with like 1,000 different movies that you've never even heard of. So I wanted to do Shawshank Redemption first, but I figured everybody's seen that movie, so I'll do it later on if I do like a top 10 or whatever. So, but with that, we'll go and head out, and we'll see you guys on the next episode of Flashback Review. Peace. So I'm a big Rush fan, I'm a big Simpsons fan, heck, I'm a big movie fan in general, but I'm definitely not this obsessed. What's up, guys? Welcome to Movie Emporium's movie review of Juliet Naked, the newest film starring Rose Byrne, Ethan Hawke, and Chris O'Dowd. I'm pretty sure you guys have never heard of this movie before, and that's fine because like a lot of these movies are very indie budget. They don't really get well known until the award circuit or the indie circuit and so on and so forth. But I had seen this trailer a couple months ago, and I found it fascinating. I really love Ethan Hawke. I think even though his quotes about superhero stuff is insane, I think he's a fantastic actor. You've seen him in the Before trilogy. You've seen him in Training Day. You've seen him in all these movies. Rose Byrne and Chris O'Dowd were both in Bridesmaids, and they're both fantastic actors and actresses. Chris O'Dowd was fantastic in the It Crowd, and Rose Byrne, and so on and so forth. So the basis of the story is Annie, who is played by Rose Byrne, is dating Chris O'Dowd's character, and he's obsessed with this character who is played by Ethan Hawke. He is obsessed with this album that this guy has created, and it's his only real album. It's a very popular album. It sounded pretty good from everything they've played in the movie, but he's obsessed with it. So it leaves Annie wanting. She kind of in her heart she wants kids, but they've kind of decided not to have kids. And his obsession is basically put her at odds of just like she writes an email one day to Ethan Hawke's character, or not an email, but she writes a response to the web page that Chris O'Dowd's character is, in response to this famous musician. And one day Ethan Hawke's character responds by email to Rose Byrne, and they start, developing a relationship through the internet. And this movie's actually really, really good. It's really fun. It's not the greatest film in the world. It's kind of like Run Fat Boy Run or Once, where they're really good films, but they're never like gonna win Oscars or anything like that. But you just go to have fun. And Rose Byrne's especially enjoyable in this movie. Chris O'Dowd is being Chris O'Dowd. He's very weird and eccentric, and Ethan Hawke's playing Ethan Hawke basically. But when they start developing the relationship, Ethan Hawke and Rose Byrne's character, he decides that he's going to come over to England because he has illegitimate children, and his one child is getting ready to have a daughter, so he's going to become a grandfather. He has a heart attack, and then Ethan Hawke goes to Rose Byrne's village, and then Chris O'Dowd gets involved, because he's a huge fan of Ethan Hawke's character. And it just plays out like a romantic love story of two people that find each other in weird ways, like You Got Mail and stuff like that, or Sleepless in Seattle. And they just start realizing that they have an affection for each other, and it's not through like mutuality and whatnot. And she wants a kid, so Ethan Hawke brings his kid with him. And I just find this movie fun. I find it lighthearted. I find that Rose Byrne, she just brings fun, kinetic energy to her. Ethan Hawke is doing Ethan Hawke, so he's always going to be enjoyable in whatever you watch. And for instance, Ethan Hawke, like I said, he has some darker matter that he has to deal with kids that like I said, they're illegitimate, so he has to find ways to reconnect with them, but they don't really want to reconnect. It's like the things you do in your past will always come back and haunt you, and we all know that because we've all done stupid things in our childhood and in our past. And that's why I just find this movie enjoyable, because it does have layers to it. It has a little bit of depthness to it, but it's not like super deep, so the characters are never going to be like super, fleshed out, I guess you could say. But like I said, when they develop the relationship, you just find that they connect well. They're spiritual in sense, and they just, when she's setting up an art gallery for the history of the town that she lives in, and Ethan Hawke plays a song, which is really beautiful, and I just think it's a fun movie. Is it the greatest movie in the world? No, but that's not what you expect going into it. And like I said, Chris O'Dowd and his obsession with Ethan Hawke's character has a really funny moment when Ethan Hawke sees the room that has all these movie tickets, all these posters of himself, and he's like, he thinks that Annie's character is obsessed with him, but she tells him that no, it's her ex-boyfriend who cheated on her, and so on and so forth. But there's not really much to say on this movie outside of just it's just a fun movie. It's a good time. I don't understand why it's rated R. It has a couple F words in it, but I just think the characters are fun to watch. I think the little kid Jackson, who's Ethan Hawke's son, he's a good character actor. He's just having fun as a kid, and when he goes and sees Ethan Hawke's daughter, when she has a kid, and then the issues with she's dating a musician who runs out on her, and it's like your past comes back to haunt you. But like I said, it's a fun movie. It's definitely worth a watch. It won't be in my top 10, but I will definitely recommend it. Even if you don't like romantic comedies, I think you'll still enjoy it. So, but that's pretty much it on it. Like I said, go see it, or at least see it when it comes out on DVD, because it's definitely worth a watch. So. But that's it on our review of Juliet Naked. If you guys like what you see, as always, remember to rate, subscribe, check us out on YouTube, Audio Boom, Facebook, and Twitter. Comment below if you've seen the movie, and most of you guys I know haven't. But like I said, it's a fun movie. So, but with that, we'll go ahead and head out, and we'll see you guys later. Peace.
Mission Impossible Fallout. What can you say about a movie of a franchise that's 20 years old? How many franchises have you seen that can take a leading star like Tom Cruise, an action franchise based off a TV from the 60s, and turn it into something so special and so exciting that you can't believe that they keep doing it? I mean, when was the last time you saw a movie franchise? Maybe Fast and Furious, depending how you feel about those movies. I love a few of them. But to say that this movie franchise of Mission Impossible Fallout with Tom Cruise is not maybe one of the best action franchises in history is insane. Let's talk about this for a second. We got Tom Cruise, 54 years old. The guy's been around for 40 years, 30 years, whatever it's been. Well, not only has he climbed Burj Khalifa, not only has he held his breath for over 6 minutes, not only has he held onto an airplane in 3 movies now, but now not only is that he doing all this stuff that in the previous movies, but now he's learned how to fly his own helicopter. Now he's learned how to halo jump, and he's piloting a motorcycle straight out of Mission Impossible 2. And all I can say is this movie is fantastic. It's brilliant. Is it as good as Rogue Nation? No, Rogue Nation is always going to be my favorite unless they do something so crazy. They go to space or something, like Austin Powers. But let's think about this. The franchise is 20 years old. I mean, yes, you have Fast and the Furious. Yes, I do enjoy some of those movies. But they're getting stale. Somehow, Tom Cruise has taken a franchise that was actually on its last leg in 2, gone and picked up J.J. Abrams, who basically jump-started the franchise. And now you got Christopher McQuarrie, or actually you had Brad Bird coming in the 4th one, do the Burj Khalifa stuff. And now you have Christopher McQuarrie, who's basically been well known for Jack Reacher and Usual Suspects and Edge of Tomorrow. He's a very well, polished writer. And you've created a franchise now that is so balls-ass crazy and so exciting that there's nothing that rivals it. Tom Cruise's stunts in this movie are bar none some of the best things I've ever seen. I mean, just think about this. This guy's 54 years old and is jumping out of airplanes. Just think about that. I mean, it's like I'm afraid to get on roller coasters, for Christ's sakes. And here's a guy jumping out of airplanes. I mean, it's bonkers. So if you don't know what the movie's about, Ethan Hunt, who's basically the star of the franchise, played by Tom Cruise, has basically failed his mission of trying and collect these nuclear spheres that are basically going to be used to, set off explosions. It's basic stuff, but he teams up with his regulars, which are brought back from Rogue Nation, which are Ving Rhames, of course, played Luther Stickle. You have Simon Pegg, and you also have back Rebecca Ferguson. And also returning is Solomon Lane's character. And basically, Tom Cruise, he basically has to take his character and he has to wonder, is what he's doing a main problem? Is he able to save his friends? And it's a major thing throughout the franchise is how much is Ethan Hunt willing to do to save his friends? And it does come back to bite him in the ass. It usually does in the movies. But have we ever seen a character? Yeah, I mean, you could say Vin Diesel, he really cares about his family. But Ethan Hunt, he does all this stuff because he knows it's important. He knows people don't have his back besides his friends. And it's almost heartwarming in a way. It's almost exciting. And I don't know. It takes Tom Cruise to a new level. He's always been, the megastar. But the franchise is solely because of Tom Cruise. And solely because he is willing to go above and beyond the next step in movie making. He has it's ridiculous. And it's so special. So, I mean, it gives me goosebumps to think about. I've seen the movie once. And by the time I post this, I probably haven't seen it 3 times. I mean, probably 2 because I'll probably post this on, Friday after I've seen it the second time. But I've never wanted to go see a movie like this. I saw Last Jedi, a couple times within the week, but Mission Impossible Fallout is a special franchise. Mission Impossible Fallout is a special movie. It's a movie that everyone should see. Even though Tom Cruise is a megastar, you can really tell he cares about his craft. You can tell that Christopher McQuarrie, who directed this movie, really understands what makes a great action movie. I was never a big fan of Jack Reacher, but you can see how a man can take action and create real depth to it. And then we got Henry Cavill, who comes in all the crap with, with Man of Steel and his mustache. We all laughed about it. But he plays a great character who has a real vendetta against Ethan Hunt. He's trying to basically, spoilers, this is spoilers so you can fast forward, but he's trying to he's basically trying to make Ethan Hunt the villain. And it shows when they bring Solomon Lane in. Solomon Lane is so angry with the world and how he was treated that he's willing to destroy the world. So, anyways, now we have the supporting cast. Rebecca Ferguson, as usual, is amazing. Simon Pegg and Ving Rhames, amazing. I mean, these people are back, and they're just fun characters to watch. Simon Pegg, they bring him up a notch, more than Rogue Nation. He's probably the standout of this movie. I mean, yeah, the fighting and stuff like that, but it's awesome. And I want to leave with this one last thing before I leave you guys to go see it for yourselves. But if you can name me in the comments below an action sequence better than anything that's in Mission Impossible, whether it be 3, Ghost Protocol, Rogue Nation, Fallout, even Mission Impossible, I guess you could say Mission Impossible 2, please tell me, because I haven't seen it. So with that, it's a definite recommendation. Probably one of the highest I can give. Go see it. A+. So, but with that, thank you so much for checking out my first review. I promise at some point in the future this will look a lot better, a lot cleaner as I start learning how to video edit. Please also subscribe to our channel, Movie Emporium. Listen to our podcast. Rate, subscribe, do everything you can to help us grow an audience. We really want you to enjoy these episodes, enjoy these reviews, and so on. So with that, thank you so much for watching my first review of Mission Impossible Fallout, and that's a wrap. What's up, guys? Welcome to Movie Emporium Reviews. I am your reviewer, Nick Lapola, and today I got a special advanced screening review of 8th grade. If you guys don't know what 8th grade is, think about this. You're in middle school. You're an introvert, kind of like what I am. I'm not the most outgoing person unless I'm on camera talking to you guys. And you're in this middle transition between 8th grade and high school, middle school, high school. And you're not popular. You try to put yourself out there, through YouTube, like she does in this movie. Or you want to be accepted. That's what the idea is. But nobody really wants to accept you. Nobody cares about you. Nobody sees you for who you are. And that's what 8th grade is. 8th grade is the story of a girl played by Elsie Fisher. Like I said, introverted. She posts help YouTube videos, telling about how to express yourself. And she's remarkable in this movie. She takes a character that could be cliched. We've seen it many times in many movies. She takes what could be a cliche character and she makes it real. She takes it and breaks it down to what it's like to be a middle schooler. You have identity problems. You don't have an identity, really. You are more worried about your status in life than just being you. And that's what her character goes through. It's a pretty mundane story. It's just her life trying to be accepted and people trying to pass her on to be accepted. But she is so scared, so reserved, so it's hard to watch because it's something I went through in school, something I dealt with. But that's what makes the movie special. Even though it deals with an 8th grade girl, you can see it in yourself, kind of like what it was like. It's really raw. It's like really it's crazy how realistic it really feels. Yeah, from the time I went to high school to the time now, things have changed. It's, people have phones, people become different, the way kids view the world is a lot different. There's a scene in this movie that actually gives you goosebumps and actually makes you a little scared for what is going on in the world today. I mean, you know it when you see it because it made the audience gasp. The people who I went to see it with, it just, you're going, wow, this is what life is really like in school. We had drills and stuff like that, but what they're dealing with now and what it shows in this movie is something that it breaks you down to your core. But basically, Elsie Fisher's character, Kaylee, she is something that she doesn't feel like she belongs, but in the inside she wants to belong. And the characters that she goes through in this movie with kind of help her to realize that the future is going to be better for you, and it really is. I can't say my life's perfect, but my life between school to going to college to now filming, it's it gives me a little bit tears in my eyes. It gives me a little chill, and it's something that when it comes out in theaters, you should go see because you'll understand how impactful it is. Bo Burnham, if you haven't seen his special, he's the director of the movie. He made a it's on Netflix. It's called Make Happy, and it's a idea of breaking down social experiments. It's breaking down life. It's taking things and twisting it on its head, making you realize that not everything is about you. Not everything is about products. You're not special. You're somebody else. But if you don't feel special to yourself, then it doesn't really matter. You got to worry about yourself. And that's what the movie's trying to say. So, it just basically breaks down to her life. Her life trying to get through 8th grade to when she goes and shadows at a high school and realizes that things will improve. Things will get better. You will get better. You will have a family. You will have a boyfriend, girlfriend, whatever you have. Your parents will always be there because her father, who's played by Josh Hamilton, is he is the breakout of the movie. He is the linchpin of this movie because his character, there's a scene in the movie, well, I don't want to go into spoilers because I want you to experience it for yourself, but Kaylee brings up a question, and her father's answer to this question, it's powerful because it makes you realize your family is your family. Doesn't matter who you are, doesn't matter what you do, they're your family. And if you come out of this movie like I did, and it doesn't make you realize that you're special for who you are, then I don't know what to tell you. But yeah, go see this movie when it comes out. Like I said, I saw it at advanced screening. I got lucky, so I went to see it early. And it'll make you laugh because there's some really funny stuff in there. It'll make you gasp because there's some really dark material in here. And it'll make you think and make you realize that school and being younger is just something to mold that you have to find a way to break yourself out of. So it's special. And Bo Burnham, if he continues directing the way he does, he's going to be something really special. So, with that, I'm going to leave you with that. It's definitely one of my favorite movies of the year. I'd probably put in the top 5 right now. I mean, I haven't seen what comes out later in the year because it hasn't come out yet. So, anyways, go see this movie. I give it an A+. I'll give it as high a grade, A++. I don't really like giving grades, but I give it a grade, A++. So, with that, thank you so much for watching my review of 8th grade. If you like what you see, definitely comment in those comments below. Definitely subscribe to our channel. Definitely listen to our podcast, Movie Emporium. We talk about all myriads of topics. We spend time, discussing the world of movies and whatnot. Check it out. Tell us what you think. And with that, thank you so much for listening to my review of the 8th grade. That's a wrap. Mind manipulation. Wait for it. So Teen Titans Go to the movies. Teen Titans is based off the animated series on Cartoon Network about a B-list of superheroes consisting of Robin, Beast Boy, Raven, Starfire, and Cyborg. These characters are not well liked, they're very underappreciated, and they do goofy stuff, so it always gets them in trouble. Basically, the movie is a take on that, but it grands it out to an hour and 28 minutes. So what happens is in the movie, Robin, who after a misstep in their fighting of a villain, feel that in order to be accepted, they have to make a movie. All the superheroes have movies. Get it? All the superheroes have movies. Think about that. So Robin and the crew devise a way by the director Jade Wilson in the movie to basically get their own movie. They need an arch villain. And who do they have? Slade Wilson, Deathstroke. So Deathstroke is trying to steal his gem. He's trying to do his stupid superhero nonsense. You know, it is what it is. And they want to make him his arch nemesis. Robin, who is the most unappreciated character, tries his best to make Slade Wilson his arch nemesis, but Slade Wilson doesn't want to have anything to do with it. He's like, you're not a superhero. So it's basically that story. It's about being accepted for who you are. It doesn't matter if you're a B-team superhero. Look at Iron Man. Look at Doctor Strange. B-team superheroes. Not really accepted. Turned out to be big action stars. But what's so funny about this movie is it takes characters that you love like Batman, Aquaman, Superman, Robin, Cyborg, every Wonder Woman, Green Lantern, and it just makes it fun. It makes it funny. It's lighthearted. It takes stupid jokes and makes them funny. Yeah, some jokes are not as funny. They go on way too long. There's one joke in the movie that's like, this didn't need to be a minute and a half long. But the jokes that are in there are funny. And the digs at Marvel in this movie are hilarious. Yes, I use that word hilarious. It's my favorite word. So what's going on is basically they're taking everything in the comic book universe and making fun of it. They're turning it on its head. They're allowing the characters to have fun. It's kind of like what Lego did with the Lego Marvel movies. The Lego superhero movies that they come out with like Lego Movie and Lego Batman. They're taking characters that are usually dark and they're making them fun. They're making them animated. They're giving them humor, irreverent humor. There's characters that pop up. You're like, how does this even fit in this movie? There's people in other universes, other comic properties that show up in this movie. You're like, how is that even possible? But it's funny. It's like a Who Framed Roger Rabbit for animated kids movies. It's fun. There's one joke in here that I laughed insistently on. It's a joke you don't see coming, but it's funny when it does. Batman and Superman they're kind of like bullies in a way where they're like, you're not good enough, you're not fun enough. We're the powerful ones. And there's a joke in there about, Batman versus Superman 2, but in the end they're just like a lovely couple, stuff like that. It's really funny. But the real gist of the movie is it has heart. The Titans are just they want to be accepted, but in the end they realize that to be accepted they just have to be themselves, and that's what they do. And like I said, I think the standout is Cyborg, and the standout is Deathstroke, because they're really funny. They're really fun to watch. So, there's not a lot to say without really spoiling the movie, but it's fun. It's good time for your kids. The adults laugh because there's some really funny humor. And to the late John Schnepp, there's even a voice cameo of one Nicolas Cage as Superman. And if you haven't gotten a chance, watch The Death of Superman Lives. It's a really good documentary, and it really harkens back to what Tim Burton was trying. But the fact that Nicolas Cage is playing Superman is pretty funny, and it shows in the movie. I like the nod. There was a nod to Animaniacs, which was really funny. But like I said, it doesn't take itself seriously. It's actually going on the idea of like they know what's going on, they know who they are. They're making movies about themselves. There's funny ideas about Batman's Batmobile. They do some stuff with like Back to the Future, which is really funny. But that's, I won't give too much away. But like I said, definitely go see it especially if you like the TV series, because I'm sure you'll like the movie. Like I said, unfortunately, I haven't seen the TV series, but I can recommend the movie enough, especially if you have kids, to definitely go see this movie because it's funny. And Death Slade, just the fact they keep mocking him as another certain character. Go see it. But yeah, so that's pretty much all I have to say with the movie. I definitely have a recommend. It's a fun time at the theater. So, as always, if you like what you see, if you like what you hear, subscribe to all our podcasts and YouTube videos, everything that we have involved with. We have an email down here somewhere, up here, I don't know. I also did reviews of Mission Impossible Fallout in 8th grade, so check those out. But otherwise, thank you so much for checking out my review of Teen Titans Go to the Movies, and we'll see you later. Peace.
The wonderful thing about Tiggers. What was that again, editor?
Tiggers are a wonderful thing, Nick.
Tiggers are a wonderful thing. I thought it was something else.
Oh, bother.
Welcome to Movie Emporium's review of Christopher Robin, newest film by Mark Forrester and starring Ewan McGregor as Christopher Robin, Haley Atwell as his wife, and Jim Cummings as Winnie the Pooh. If you don't know what Christopher Robin or Winnie the Pooh is, they're characters from the 1800s or 1900s, somewhere around there, about a kid who grows up with a set of friends, or imaginary, whatever they are. They grow up in the 100-acre woods. They're Winnie the Pooh, Eeyore, Tigger, Piglet, Rabbit, Owl, Roo, all them characters. As he spends his childhood, he listens, he has fun, he interacts, they have journeys, they fight heffalumps, all that good stuff. Winnie the Pooh is kind of like, almost like it's conscious. They're actually, if we think about it, and I didn't realize this until I was watching the movie last night, his characters are like his emotions. They're scared, they're hopeful, they're sad, they're intrigued, they're interested, they're not always remembering everything. But that's not what this movie centers on. This movie centers on kind of like a hook story, where what would happen if Christopher Robin left the world of 100-acre woods, moved on to a new life, became an adult, had a family, and all that good stuff. And that's where the story begins. And I'm just going to say it right now, probably the first 30 minutes or so are not the most interesting. They're very depressing. It takes place during World War I. Ewan McGregor's went to war. Now he has a family he neglects because he works for this luggage company. And they want him to stay over for the weekend because he's supposed to go to college with his wife and kid, who he neglects. And they want him to stay over so he can do some, so he can, basically remove jobs because they're like hurting for money. And his wife, Haley Atwell's character, she just wants him to be a father. He doesn't know how to do that sometimes. He just knows how to work. He's trying to survive and supply for his family. And it shows because he's not there all the time. He's too much in his head. You see a scene where they're dancing, the kid and the mother are dancing, and he just shuts the doors, which is what the kind of the movie's about. Ewan McGregor is pretty fantastic as Christopher Robin. You can tell he wants to be there with his wife, but you can tell he has this job that he doesn't like, obviously. And it shows. His boss is kind of a scumbag whose father owns the company, and he wants him to do the downsizing. But, it's for the first 30 minutes, it kind of shows that Christopher Robin is just a normal person. He's forgotten everything. He's forgotten Winnie the Pooh. And that's where the story kind of kicks in, where it actually becomes good. Christopher Robin has forgotten about his friends, and Winnie the Pooh wakes up one morning and his friends are gone. So Winnie the Pooh has to go find Christopher Robin, who's now an adult. And that's where we kind of jumpstart on what's good about the movie. Winnie the Pooh and the characters themselves are amazing. They're fantastic. Winnie the Pooh, who's voiced by Jim Cummings, sounds like Winnie the Pooh. He acts like Winnie the Pooh. He's forgetful. He's innocent. He just wants honey. He wants to be with his friends. And it shows. It's just like what we watched in the anime series back in the 90s with the many adventures of Winnie the Pooh. Jim Cummings is one of those special voice actors. You can see it every time he does a character. I think he did Pete and Goof Troop, if I remember right. But he's fantastic. He really gets the mannerisms of Winnie the Pooh. And when you see Winnie, or you see Pooh go there to talk to Christopher Robin, and he does the thing. He's like, you look older, you have, wrinkles on your face. It's just the innocence of what Pooh represents. And, he wants a red balloon, which is a major part of the story. But just the fact that what Winnie the Pooh is, how he represents who Christopher Robin used to be, and how they mesh together, it's a fantastic part of the story. And let's not forget the actual other side characters like Eeyore, which is played by Brad Garrett. Eeyore is, he's a sad character, he's a depressed character, but he's a character that lights up when he realizes the adult is Christopher Robin. There's this whole really fun scene with a heffalump. Eeyore realizes that there's no heffalump, but I'm not gonna spoil it for you, but Eeyore plays along, I guess is the word. So it's just, Brad Garrett really represents what Eeyore is. He does a nice job. Remember him from Everybody Loves Raymond, but he's definitely a standout in the movie as Eeyore. Chris O'Dowd plays Tigger, and it sounds exactly like Tigger. Jim Cummings actually did Tigger in the animated series, but Chris O'Dowd takes the mannerisms, takes the feel, takes the jumpiness, all that good stuff of Tigger, and is well represented. I don't know who plays Piglet, but Rabbit is played by Peter Capaldi, which is the 10th Doctor Who, I think, or 9th, whatever one it is. And he looks and acts like Rabbit, the insecure, the intense, whatever you want to call it. Toby Jones, of course, is Toby Jones, and he plays Al perfectly, and then Rue and all them. And, I mean, they're fun characters. But the main interesting, fantastic part of this movie is how good the CGI for these characters look, because they look like the characters you would have seen in stores in the 18 or 1900s. There's a whole plot of them being live, real creatures or animals or whatever, and it plays out through funniest ways. The movie's actually pretty funny, but the characters themselves are what you go see the movie for, and the CG makes them look like you could pick them up and hold them, and that's what makes it fantastic. That's what makes these characters fantastic. That's why they've lasted as long as they've have, because the people who play them really care about them. They really want a sense to you, a sense of believability and whatnot. And the people, whoever did the visual effects, I hope it's ILM, takes ideas from this movie, because just the fluffiness, just the cotton, the way it moves, the way Pooh moves, it's incredible. It looks real. And if they could have done that with Black Panther or even parts of Avengers, can you imagine how good those movies would look? I mean, yeah, they're just small characters, but they're fantastic characters. And like I said, I got to give it to Ewan McGregor as Christopher Robin. I mean, Ewan McGregor's already a fantastic actor, but here he shines. He's great. Don't listen to what everybody else says. Christopher Robin is a good movie. It's not a fantastic movie, but it's a fun movie. It's a fun movie to take your kids, as long as you can get past that first 30 minutes, which, like I said, is depressing. But like I said, go see it. Enjoy Winnie the Pooh. Enjoy his friends. Enjoy Ewan McGregor's Christopher Robin. Enjoy everything about it, because these movies are why we go to see movies, why we enjoy what we enjoy from our childhood. So with that, I'm going to go ahead and let you guys go. Thank you so much for watching. If you like what you see, remember, rate, subscribe to our YouTube channel, Audio Boom, Facebook and Twitter. Comment below. Let us know how we're doing. We definitely need the reviews and all that good stuff to keep us growing. But with that, also email us at nlapola1138@gmail.com. Otherwise, thank you so much for watching. Peace, guys. Hey, editor.
Yes, Nick.
Do you remember that video clip I told you to run for the Darkest Mind review? Go ahead and roll it.
Hey, Mikey! If you can hear me, run! Run! They're coming after you!
What's up, guys? Welcome to Movie Emporium's review of The Darkest Minds, the newest crap YA novel by 20th Century Fox. and starring Bradley Whitford, Mandy Moore, and Gwendolyn Christie. To start out, I always like to start a little positive. This movie, it looks good. The cast does the best they can. You know, it's cool to see Bradley Whitford in this movie. Cut. That's all. This movie sucks. I'm sorry. You got Bradley Whitford, you got Mandy Moore, you got Gwendolyn Christie, and you got the director of Kung Fu Panda 2 in her first role, or movie, directing. And this is all you can come up with? I mean, think about this. You got the story of a girl who has powers, X-Men, and she erases her family's memory, and then she gets sent to an internment camp, and the kids are segregated based on color of threat, which orange and red are the highest of threats, and then the other colors are not as threats, so they're not killed off. Yeah, so on top of that, kids are killed off in this movie because they're considered a threat by the government. So basically what happens is she gets sent to an internment camp. She's there for 6 years. She's able to hide under cover as a green instead of orange. Orange is a terminate. And Mandy Moore pops up and helps her escape and says, we have a place you can go to. But as things go in these types of movies, the character played by Amandla Stenberg, she finds friends who say, we have a sanctuary we can go to. Here it is. We'll go to it. We'll have someone help us. There's a kid called the Slip Kid, I guess, whatever they're called. I think this is based off a book, so whatever. But so the way this movie is shot, the way this movie is filmed, this way the movie is edited, it's all over the place. It's choppy. Things don't make any sense. There's a haphazard love story in this movie. The action sequences are poorly planned, poorly executed. Nothing adds up, and it shows. The kids are all stilted. They have this little young girl, little Asian young girl who has cool powers with electricity, but they don't do anything with her. Like, half the characters disappear and just all of a sudden reappear out of nowhere. It's like, I think Fox cut this movie down like an hour because this movie doesn't make any sense. There's so many plot holes in this movie, you can't follow anything. And I understand this is a young adult kids novel or movie, but I mean, if I want to go see this movie based off like the trailers and stuff, I should be able to have a fun time, even if it's not the greatest movie in the world. And this is not the greatest movie in the world. Not only is it not the greatest movie in the world, but it's a terrible movie. It sucks. Like I said, I hate to use that word, but it sucks. And it shows. Like I said, the characters try to do the best with what they can, but when you put characters like Bradley Whitford or Gwendolyn Christie, or even to an extent Mandy Moore in a movie, you expect some level of deepness to it. And like I said, they're not even in the movie very much, and the things they do don't make any sense, or they just kind of disappear and chop off of it. Like, there's nothing to go on in this movie, and that's why it just is not good. And I don't recommend it. And I know you guys will probably see it because I'm a reviewer and it's subjectionable, but if you want my advice, go see The Spy Who Dumped Me or Christopher Robin. They're better movies, and I will have a Spy Who Dumped Me review. I'd actually rather talk about that movie, but this is a different movie. But with that, that's my take. Take it for what it's worth. But with that, thank you so much for watching as always. If you like what you see, remember, rate, review, subscribe, check out YouTube, Audio Boom, Facebook, Twitter, and as always, email us at nlapola1138@gmail.com. But with that, thank you so much for watching, guys, and we'll see you later. Peace. Kate McKinnon in a good movie? Who knows?